Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. And we are back, as usual, and better than ever. So I'm Otis.
And I'm Jerry.
All right, and this is two guys catching up on football. So we had some pretty good stuff over the weekend. So this is a Monday afternoon. So this is gonna be pretty good. So we'll see how everything goes.
We got
So Jerry, huh?
one more game for week one.
One more game before week one. So Jerry, I got I got on my iPad here I'll give you the top 12 rankings for college football, and if the season, as they always say, if the season were to end today, these would be the 12 teams in the playoff. So we got Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, Ole Miss, Missouri, Tennessee, Penn State, Oregon, Miami, USC, and Utah. That would be a really, really good
That's pretty
playoff.
good.
Yeah, that would be a really good playoff. And the thing is, okay, with certain people, I'm like, to borrow a line from our old buddy Dennis Green, they are who we thought they were. And so I think Lane Kiffin is still the coach for Ole Miss, I think. He is who he is. Ole Miss is going to lose a couple of games that they have
Probably.
absolutely no business losing. So they probably won't be in the top 12. And I think the same thing about Tennessee. At Missouri, I'm not so sure about, but I'm not altogether certain that they will. But for most of the rest of the guys, maybe Miami might drop out of that top 12.
Ooh, I don't
May,
know about that one. Yeah.
yeah, they got that really good quarterback who transferred from
Yeah.
Washington or Washington State.
Washington State.
Yeah,
Cam Ward. Yeah.
he's one of our grandpa quarterbacks.
Yeah, but he's playing great. So I think he's a Heisman candidate this year.
Okay, so not only do they have a grandpa quarterback, they have a grandpa tight end. The guy, this is his ninth
Oh yeah.
season of college football. Nobody should be allowed to. I don't care the reason why they're
That's
letting him
his
play.
ninth season, I think. Yeah.
When you're close to retirement age, you should not be allowed to play college football anymore. I'm sorry. That's just me. That's just me. So, but other than that, the rest of that top 12 for the second week looks pretty good, pretty solid, and if they were to have a playoff, I think they would be as close to like March Madness as possible, where where you don't really have a clear cut favorite. Because right now Georgia would play Utah,
Yeah.
and I'm not exactly sure Georgia wins that game. Well,
Wow, really?
actually, I take that back. Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, and Alabama would get the four byes in the first week. So it would be Ole Miss versus Utah,
Well, then
and
now we're talking upset. Yeah.
it would be Ole Miss, Utah, Missouri, USC, Tennessee, Miami, and Penn State, Oregon. I think all of those would be really, really good games. I think those are all toss ups. Then after that, you kind of get into who winds up winning and getting into going against those top four seeds.
Now
But
I'm going to squeeze in here. Now the polls got it right because Michigan and Notre Dame should not be in the top 12 after their
no, no,
definitely
no,
not Notre Dame.
yeah.
It's early. It's only the first second week, so we'll see. We know Notre Dame and Michigan are probably going to squeeze back in there somehow.
Marcus Freeman, though, as much as I like the guy, he's another one. They're going to lose another game that they should not
Oh,
lose.
probably, yeah.
I mean, they just will, because that's what they do. That's what he does, and he is who we think he is, and, so that's just kind of the way that goes. But Um, so let's do the NFL for the first week here, and we'll start with the Ravens Chiefs. Good game, but um, uh, Lamar Jackson, they just are in it when they play the Chiefs. They just are,
Now we were going back and forth a little bit. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL
without
in
a doubt.
football, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Lamar, to me personally, is I'm going to call him my biggest wild card
yeah,
because you don't know exactly. He might do something really incredible, but he might also do something like miss. I think it was Likely or Bateman in the end zone, where they could have tied it. So you
yeah.
just don't know with Lamar.
If Mahomes has a receiver that wide open in the end zone,
Oh,
he's going to hit him.
yeah, he
He's
would
not
not have
gonna
missed that throw. No.
he's not gonna
Yeah.
miss. And so that's where Lamar has to get to.
Yeah.
If he's got a guy that wide open, I
Yeah.
mean nobody's in the camera except for the receiver.
Yeah,
When
that's
he's
true.
got a guy, yeah,
Yeah.
when he's got a guy that wide open, he's got to hit him.
Yeah.
And then we had the Packers and the Eagles on Friday night. Jordan Love goes down. Without Jordan Love, I don't think the Packers have a shot.
No, I don't. I think I might be wrong. I think they said an MCL, right, or something where he'll
Right.
be out. Not the season, few games. Still, those few games, yeah, they aren't going to be the same. Not even close.
No, they could. They could. Malik Willis is the backup, and he just got to camp like a week and a half ago, so he's not um, versed in their offense. So
No.
Love is probably going to miss 6 weeks. I mean, he might be ready to play in 3, but they probably shouldn't put him on the field as soon as he's ready
Yeah.
to play. So he's probably going to miss 6, and they probably are going to be 0-6 in those 6. So
Probably, maybe,
they,
yeah,
they
or
might
maybe
they
get one.
might actually they might
And
actually keep
in,
him out
in
for the year.
the other, here we go. It's early, but right now, did the Eagles getting Saquon? Pretty important move, right? I think he had 3
Oh,
touchdowns. Yeah.
he had 3 touchdowns. That was, but we're gonna get to his former team in a minute. So the Saints and the Panthers. There's really not much to say about that. The Panthers are horrible. Yeah,
They're
the
the worst
Saints.
team in the league, I think,
Yeah,
hands down.
the Saints are not
They
that
don't.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So now
Saints
we're
are.
gonna.
Well, I'll let you keep going. Saints. I don't think that they're a sneaky team, but they're good. They're better, maybe. Carr
But
played very well. So.
but they played the Panthers, so that's
Well,
not
that's
really
true too. So
a good
yeah,
indication.
that's true.
And no, now we got to Saquon's former team, Vikings and the Giants. Okay, Panthers are the worst team. The Giants kind of go beyond being the worst team.
Yeah,
I'm not exactly sure what adjective that is, but there's only 32
well,
teams in the league, and the Giants would be ranked number 35. So we could throw a
well,
couple of
probably.
we could throw a couple of
Yeah,
high school teams in there that'll be better. And so most of the top 12 of the NCAA football are better than they are. We could throw a couple of them in there. So the Giants would be the 35th best team in the league.
and
And,
now they even upped it. They added uniforms to match
oh
as
my
bad as they
God.
are. So
Oh my.
their uniforms are just as bad. They're just bad. Period.
What
And
did
I
they
saw,
what did they do? What did they do? They got into a dark room and just threw colors on the
yeah,
wall and just went,
threw it
okay,
into a
that's our
blender, and
uniform.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like
You know,
yikes.
and Daniel Jones, I saw a stat. I can't remember how many games back it goes, but he's got more interceptions than touchdowns. So
Yeah.
he might even
Yeah.
have, or it might be that he's got more touchdowns for the other team.
Oh yeah, he's got a
So
bunch
more
of them.
pick sixes. He's thrown more pick sixes than actual touchdowns. So
Yeah,
good
yeah,
luck, Giants fans.
yeah,
You'll get Shadur maybe next year,
yeah.
and then good luck again. So
Oh yeah, and then good luck again. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So all right, and then we had Patriots Bengals. That is the upset of Week 1.
yeah.
The Bengals
Didn't see
looked
that coming. Yeah.
bad.
I tell you
Yeah,
though, I've seen he was on the Browns. I think maybe 2 years, maybe even three. Jacoby Brissett does not turn the ball over. He's an
yeah,
excellent game manager, and he did what he had to do. And
yeah,
and Mayo, well, the Patriots defense under Mayo is going to be pretty good.
yeah.
So
And
yeah,
that's really kind of all they need. And
yeah.
and speaking of which, this is our next game. The man who always wins.
Oh
Steelers
yeah,
Falcons.
yeah.
And-
Now Tomlin, speaking of no touchdowns, 6 field goals.
Yeah.
Now, don't tell. If anybody is going to get their team to find a way to win, it's Mike Tomlin.
He is. The man is exceptional about that. And Justin Fields played well enough.
Yeah,
He didn't turn the ball over, and that was the most important
yeah.
thing. He didn't
Do your
fumble. He didn't
job.
throw an
Yeah.
interception. And T.J. Watt, at some point, put on a Kirk Cousins jersey and got in the huddle with them and camouflaged himself, and they weren't paying attention. They just and the offensive line went, "Oh, why is Cousins on the other side?" Well, it doesn't really matter. He's our
Yeah,
guy, so we're not gonna block him.
and Russ Wilson, he knew he was inactive for that game, and he still put on his shoulder pads on the sidelines.
I,
So
I-
Russ is being Russ. If they're
Yeah.
winning, let Russ do what he wants. I don't think Russ, he's not going to see the field. I don't think.
if Justin Fields played like he did yesterday, he will. There was a throw he made to George Pickens that was across the field and on
Yeah.
the sideline.
Yeah, I
It,
saw
it
that
had
one.
to travel about 45 yards on a rope.
Yeah.
Okay, none of the quarterbacks Pittsburgh has had since Ben Roethlisberger could have done
no.
that. And
No.
so I think he's going to get better. And I think he's going to start throwing touchdowns. I think right now they just want him to not mess the game up. And as long as he does that, they have a shot.
Yeah.
To me, the best game, well, one of the best games yesterday was Texans Colts. That was a good game. And did you see the throw that Anthony Richardson made?
I did
After-
not see it.
Oh, you got to see it. You got to call it up. After he drops back to pass, his foot slips. He collects himself, and the pass went 67 yards in the air, and he hit the receiver on the 2-yard line. The guy just walked into the end zone.
Wow.
I mean, it was just the most beautiful throw I've ever seen, and it's kind of like Warren Moon's throws were.
Wow.
Tight spiral in the air, except it was about 30 yards farther than Warren Moon could probably throw it. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful pass. But the Texans are better than the Colts.
Yeah, they're a better team. They've got more weapons. Yeah.
Yeah, and they picked up the running back.
Joe Mixon, I think.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so with Joe Mixon, when they had to run the clock out, they ran the ball. And
And
so,
they got Stephon Diggs now too. So
yes. And Diggs got 2 touchdowns yesterday. So they're going to be a team to look at.
yeah,
They know.
I think that they're going to win that division. I don't think there's any question.
Yeah, I think so. And so now we get to our favorite player. Well, one of our favorite players in the leagues, the Cardinals and the Bills. The Smurf played well yesterday. I
Well,
just can't get. I most players when they run, they have like a yard step.
yeah.
And he has like 5-inch steps,
Oh
and his
yeah,
leg, and
yeah. He
his
kind of. I
legs are.
don't know how to. It's not running. It's. I
I
can't
don't
think of
know.
the right word. It's like
And what's
skip
funny is,
jump or something. It's like
yeah,
scumping, I guess. I don't know what you want to
yeah,
call it.
and what's funny is the other guys are bigger and they can't catch him. I mean,
Oh no. Yeah.
it's just they just can't catch him. Once he gets out into the open field, he's hard to catch.
Yeah.
If they keep him in the pocket, you can see him disappear in the pocket because all these guys are so much bigger than he is,
Oh
and you could
yeah.
just see him disappear. So, but
Yeah.
they almost did, but the defense, Josh Allen was just Josh Allen, and
Oh yeah.
he did some really good stuff, and the receivers, they are not star receivers, but I think they will be. They held on to the ball when he
All you
threw it
gotta
to
do.
him,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they got into the end zone. And then he had a couple of runs that he's probably going to get hurt on later in the season if he does that.
Well, if he
But
keeps doing that, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then you and I texted yesterday, and you made me laugh because you're like, how could the Bears possibly win this game? And they
Oh,
won this game because they had a block punt for a touchdown. They had a pick six for a
six.
touchdown. And I think they had a punt return for a
I think.
touchdown.
I'm not
So
sure what Caleb Williams' passer rating at the end of the game was. Maybe 48 or something.
I
Uh,
don't think he I don't think he threw for 100 yards.
I don't think
Um,
so either. But you know what? Sometimes I guess you don't have to, and you take it.
and he didn't turn the ball over.
No.
So that in itself was a good thing. And
And
his
they've
defense,
got the Bears have a different attitude. We'll see what they can do. I think they're still stuck. You and I would agree with Eberflus. So we'll see what happens as we go on.
yeah, yeah. Well, I read a thing that said the Bears have said they're not going to get on the treadmill again, where where a player gets drafted and the coach gets fired, and now the player has to deal with a different coach.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
It's a good idea. Um, they could probably do better than Eberflus to do it, but they're giving him a shot. And I think Eberflus is a defensive coach. So I think as long as
Yeah.
he keeps his hands out of the offense, I think they'll be okay.
Not
So
sure who their offensive coordinator is. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not either, but
Yeah.
we'll see. And then we had the Dolphins and the Jaguars, and that was a good game.
A good one. Yeah,
Dolphins
exciting.
The Dolphins came back after Etienne fumbled into the end zone. The Dolphins did what the Dolphins do, which is score from any part of the field.
Get the
So
ball to Tyreek. Yeah.
yeah. So and Waddle, and so
Yeah.
it's they always get open. So I was glad to see that. The Seahawks and the Broncos were a good game, but dull. Um,
Yeah.
it was kind of dull. So I'm watching it on Red Zone, so I'm flipping to something else every time that game came up. Um, the Chargers and the Raiders, all Jim Harbaugh does is win, and
Yeah.
and I think they have a good recipe. They're going to run the ball,
Yeah.
and
He's
um,
gonna
and
run
the
it.
Chargers quarterback. What's the Chargers quarterback's name?
Herbert.
Thank you. He threw 26 passes yesterday.
Yeah.
That
They,
was
they
it.
they rebuilt their offensive line too, and it's
Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah.
yeah, because they're gonna run, and so that was pretty good. I hate to get to this game, but we'll mention it and then we'll keep going. Cowboys Browns.
Yeah.
We mentioned it. We'll keep
Keep
going.
going. No.
Yeah. So for
the
those
I
who are
do.
joining,
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
for
I'll
those
let
who are
you.
joining us for the first time, Jerry is a Browns fan, so about halfway
Yeah.
through the first quarter, when it was 7-0, I got a text, game over. Jerry
Oh
is the
yeah, definitely.
quintessential Browns
I think
fan.
by the third quarter, I was wondering when basketball season started. The I tell you, a quick further thought on the Browns. For whatever reason, I guess they needed a scapegoat. They won last year with five different quarterbacks. The offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt, they let him go. They needed to blame somebody. They lost in the playoffs. He was the
Yeah.
guy that got let go. They bring in Ken Dorsey, who was in Buffalo, had Josh Allen. What does Buffalo like to do the last few years?
Oh yeah.
They like to run Josh Allen and throw. They don't like
Yeah.
to run the ball. The Browns are putting all their money on Watson being able to throw. I don't think it's going to work. I think they're going to have problems all year long, probably, is my
Yeah,
guess.
I think so too. I'm gonna put the over under at 4 games before they
Yeah.
go to Jameis Winston. I'm gonna
Yeah,
put
they're
the
going to
over under
switch at
there.
some point. Yeah. I just I don't want to get too much into the Browns. Why Ken Dorsey and that? I don't know what they're thinking, or I think that they wanted to unlock Watson, so to speak, or free him to go wild and make all these great plays. Well, we'll see. It's a long season, but right now, no, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, that's enough about the Browns.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, our one of our favorite players, Commanders and Buccaneers, and Baker Mayfield. He just played well. He
Baker's
played
playing
well.
well. I'm gonna go people a little crazy going with it. I mean, Washington, eh, not that right. I don't think Washington's defense is that great, but
No,
still,
no.
Baker did play well. He does what he has to do, and Baker
Yeah,
was Baker. He was pumped up, so
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now we got the Lions and the Rams. Um, After watching that game last night, I do not believe that the Niners can beat the Lions. Um, the
Yeah,
way they
what makes
play,
you think that?
well, the way they played last night, um, they had a problem with the defensive backs last year, and they upgraded the defensive backfield. They didn't have a problem with getting to the quarterback. They didn't have a problem with the linebackers. However, when they weren't able to put pressure on the quarterback, the defensive backs couldn't hold up. They got a defensive backfield that can hold up. That the rookie they got from Alabama, Arnold, he's really good. I
I
mean,
do.
he's gonna make some rookie mistakes, but he's really good.
I do. One thing I like about the Lions, and I did last. I like their offensive line. They have a good offensive line, which can slow the Niners' pass rush too.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and the 49ers are not good against the run. They're
yeah,
not really good. They were near the bottom against the run.
yeah,
Um, and when it got
yeah.
to overtime, I think the Lions had an 8 play drive and they threw the ball once. They ran the
Now,
ball 7 times to get it into the end zone.
now I'm jumping ahead about into the playoffs, but is Dan Campbell gonna make a mistake in the playoffs again as a coach
No,
that caught something where you say, "Why would you do that?" Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's one of those guys that, okay, I did it, I learned from it, it ain't gonna happen again.
Yeah,
And
probably. I hope so.
I
Yeah.
think I don't think he will.
Yeah.
So
I,
that's
well,
why I picked.
I do like seeing the Lions win just for the city and their fans
Yeah.
get pumped up. It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
and I haven't heard from my brother yet, but I'm sure I will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then our last game is tonight. Um, Niners and the Jets. I think and for those who are just joining us, I'm a Niner fan. I don't trust Kyle
Well,
Shanahan, but I'm a
oh,
Niners
no. I
fan.
was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Niners, yes.
So
Shanahan, no for Otis. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
However, as I've pointed out before, who are you
Yeah.
gonna get if you don't have him? There isn't
There's nobody.
anybody. There isn't
Yeah.
anybody to get. So,
Yeah.
well, I take that back. Mike Tomlin. Put
Well,
Mike
maybe
Tomlin
he's not
with the
going anywhere
talent
though. He
with the
just
talent that the 49ers have on the offense.
maybe in a few years. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tomlin would probably go undefeated during the regular season with the talent that the 49ers have on offense and how good their defense and how great of a coach
Yeah.
he is. He would probably go unbeaten. But
Now, are
I'm
we
going
going
to
to see? Now, I'm real fascinated tonight to see. He's not one of our favorite guys in the least, but Aaron Rodgers, first game back, he didn't play in the preseason either. I don't think. No snaps.
yeah.
He's going to have Bosa on him. Warner. I'm
I
fascinated to
think
see what happens.
I think they're going to run the ball more because again, the
Probably.
Niners defense is not good against the run. They were bottom, I think they were bottom five, and they've got Brees Hall, who is a great running back,
Yeah.
and so I think they're not going to
They'll be a
put too
pretty
much.
physical. I think the Jets defense will be physical as well.
Yeah,
So
and their offensive line is pretty
yeah,
physical. So
yeah.
that's what I think I'll see. And I think the Jets defense is good enough that they'll keep Brock Purdy off his mark a little bit. So I
Yeah.
think we'll see that. So
Should be a
anyway,
tight one.
yeah. So that is our show for this week. It was great. Grandpa Bo Nix made some
Well,
mistakes,
we'll see.
but he played overall. He played as a rookie should play. Jaden Daniels for the Commanders, he played as a rookie should play. Caleb Williams played as a rookie should play, and they all three lost. And so it's
Oh,
what
no,
happened.
not Caleb though. Caleb won. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Caleb won, but Caleb had a better
Well,
defense than the
Caleb
other
got
two
carried.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the team
Caleb.
put.
Caleb
The
had.
team put. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Caleb had better
Caleb
defense and
got
better
carried on
special
the
teams.
stretcher by the team, but they got him there. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So that is our show for this week. Um, thank you guys for joining us. And I gotta get our little traveling music here set up. But Jerry, I kind of like doing it on Monday afternoon as opposed
it's
to
not a
Sunday
bad
night.
day.
'Cause, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a bad day to do it, and I'm a little more awake.
Well, and I'm less grumpy about the Browns. So
And you're less grumpy about the Browns. So you've had time to sleep on it. So that's pretty good. So we're gonna have our music. And I love this song. I'm glad we picked this song for our
love it.
traveling music. And yes, that was another episode of Two Guys Catching Up on Football. I'm Otis,
And I'm Jerry.
and we want to thank you guys for joining us. And I just want to say, ciao, Bella.
See you next week.